So hello guys, and here we are for our second video on Arduino. And today we're going to learn a very useful skill, but pretty simple. It's going to be blinking an LED. So for this project, you're not going to need too much, just one Arduino board. You can have any of them. I'm going to be doing them on the Uno and also on the Mega. So if you have one of those, that would be a little bit better. Just a breadboard, as you'll need in any electronics project. A few jumper wires, so for some basic connections, and a 220 ohm resistor you're going to need for the LED so the LED doesn't blow out. But you can also just use it on pin 13 on your Arduino, which has a built-in resistor, so you don't necessarily need a resistor for this. And let's go over to the breadboard and show you how we can hook up our stuff. So hey guys, and we're back to the breadboard. So let's show you how we're going to hook this up. So here's our Arduino Uno right here. I'm actually going to be using the Mega to run the sketch, but I'll wire it up on the Uno so you guys can see how it looks. So we're going to hook an LED up to pin 12. Just look on your Arduino, and on the digital pins, hook a 220 ohm resistor into pin 12 and add it to a row on the breadboard. So I'll hook it in right there. And we'll get another resistor or another jumper wire and connect that to ground. There's a few ground ports on this. I'm gonna use the one that's right over here. So let's hook that into a row on the breadboard. And let's hook up our LED. So now we'll hook up our LED like this, with the positive to the pin 13 and other leg to ground. That's what it's going to look like for the breadboard. So hello guys, and we're back in the Arduino IDE, and this is called the Integrated Development Environment. And you can download this from the Arduino website, as I said in the last video. So IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment, and this is the environment where you write the programs for your Arduino, and basically you tell the Arduino what to do based on the code you give it. So we're going to write a sketch, and a sketch is what the programs are called, to make an LED blink. And we set up the wiring right before this. Now we're going to make the LED blink with our program. So start off by writing our first line of code, and it's actually a setup function, and it's going to be called void setup. It's followed with 2 parentheses and an open bracket. So in this section, you have to do void setup for every single sketch you write, and you say which pin, if the pin is going to be an input or output. So I'll show you what we mean. So after doing void setup, which is required in every function, we write pin mode. Then we write the pin name, which in this case is 12, and then whether it's an input or an output. So an input would be something like reading a button or reading a sensor. An output would be sending out power, like lighting an LED or lighting a motor. So in this case, can you guess what it would be? It would be an output, and that's because we're sending out power to an LED to light it up. We're not taking something in. So we'll write pin mode 12 because that's the name of the pin, and then output. So that declares it as an output. If you didn't do this, it would not work. So now we close our brackets because we're done with all the setup stuff. We've said if we were doing more pins with a bigger project, we would do more pin modes. But since we only have 1 pin, that's all we need. And next we do void setup, or void loop. And void loop is what it will keep running over and over. Everything you put in there will keep running over and over. So if we want the LED to blink, it'll keep blinking forever. So the first thing we write is we want to make the LED high at first, right? And then it goes low. So it's up and down, high and low, and then it'll be blinking. So we put digital, right? We do digital, right? Then the pin name, which is 12 in this case, and high. So what we've done is made a pin 12 high, which means it's sending out power. Next, we do a delay, so we say how long do we want it to stay at high. Maybe a second, half a second. So now that we have, so we have to decide like how long do we want it. So a good thing for this, I would say, is 1 second. And to make a delay, which is what it's called, you type delay, and then in parentheses how long you want. And I think a good thing would be 1,000. And you may be wondering what that is. And everything's measured in milliseconds. So 1,000 milliseconds is equivalent to 1 second. And there's one thing I forgot to show you. After every single line of code you write, you have to put a semicolon like that. Semicolon right there. Semicolon right there. And now we, and that's only after lines of code like this, not like function definitions like this. So next we say what do we want after the delay. So we want it to high. It stays high for 1 second. And then what? If you guessed it, it's exactly like the other one, except we want it to go low. So that's why it's going to be bling. It's going to be on high, stays high for a second, then goes low. And then we want it to also stay low for a second. So we type 1,000. So it'll be high for a second, then low for a second, then high for a second. And it keeps doing that over and over because it's in the void loop, and the void loop keeps running over and over. So now after we're done writing everything in the loop, we do a close parentheses, and it'll turn blue to show that the parentheses are connected. So I'm going to plug this into my Arduino, and we're going to see how it runs. So hey guys, so here is on the breadboard, and I'm going to show you how to do, so what we're going to do now is we're going to upload the sketch using it's just a standard A to B USB cable, probably the same one found in your printers. So we plug the USB cable into this port in our Arduino, and I know you see that we're using the Arduino, I'm using an Arduino Mega on this. So make it look a little bit different if you're using the Uno, but it's basically the exact same thing. I showed you the wiring right before, and it's the exact same thing. You hook it up to pin 12, and you hook up the other end to ground, and everything's the exact same. It just looks a little bit different because this is the board that I have right now. So let's plug it into the computer, plug into a USB port on our computer. So now we're going to upload the sketch, and it's on the top bar above the sketch you'll see a button called upload. You can also do file, or here, let me see. So you can do a file, and then there's a button called upload. You can do that, and you can also do Control U, which uploads it. So I'm going to click the upload button. It's going to say compiling sketch, and it's checking for any errors in your sketch to make sure, and it'll alert you if there is an error. And then it'll say uploading, and then done uploading. And it says the size of the sketch. It says this should say somewhere between around 1,000 bytes, maybe 1,000 to 2,000 bytes, depending on your Arduino board. And now let's upload the sketch. We're gonna hook up the Arduino. And now we see it running. So let's plug in our LED, and there we go. As you can see, maybe a little, not the best view, but let me give you a little bit closer. See, the LED is blinking. And another thing we can do to make the LED blink faster is just change the delay. So if you're looking on your computer right now, you see the two delays in between the digital write high and digital write low. So let's change that to 500, and that's only has half a second. And we'll see if that makes it a little bit faster. Let's upload that sketch. So that light's blinked and it gets uploading, and it's blinking a lot faster. So now we can make it a little bit more fast. Let's make it 50 milliseconds. That's 1/20th of a second. It's going to be very fast. See, it's playing very fast. So you can play around with this sketch a little, maybe hook up 2 LEDs if you want. It's the same thing. And maybe mess around with the delays, make it faster, longer delays. So now we're gonna so that's the end of our tutorial 1. We hope you learned a lot. This is just a really basic tutorial, but it's you learned a lot of skills about how to use digital right, how to use delays, and how you have to use void setup, void loop, and pin mode in every sketch. And in the next video, we're going to be looking a little bit about how to use push buttons and interact with a push button, so you can make an LED turn on. And also, we might be using a photoresistor in the next video to show how you can interact with light. So thank you for watching, and hope you have a great day.